So, how exactly does a company go from being called a meme stock to a full-on moon mogul in like just over a year? We are about to dive into the absolutely explosive story of Intuitive Machines. This is a company that has really morphed from what many saw as just a speculative bet into a true titan of this new space race.
And just to give you a sense of the crazy momentum we're talking about, look at this. On one single day back in April, the company's stock, ticker LUNR, shot up by almost 35%. I mean, a jump that big doesn't just get people's attention, it demands an explanation.
But, you know that one-day pop? It's really just a small piece of a much bigger picture. If you zoom out and look at the last year, the return is, well, it's a staggering 216%. This is not just a little flicker of interest, folks. This is a full-blown rocket launch on Wall Street.
And that, right there, brings us to the big question. What is going on here? How did a company that, let's be honest, was dismissed by a lot of people as a meme stock, one of those stocks driven more by social media hype than actual fundamentals, how did it transform into a serious industrial player with a multi-billion-dollar valuation?
Okay, first up, let's talk about LUNR's explosive rise. This is really a story about the company growing up, maturing. We're going to see how it went from being that speculative gamble to a core player in the space economy, with the contracts and the tech to actually back it all up.
So to understand this incredible rise, we really need to dig into what Intuitive Machines actually does, because they have carved out this niche for themselves that is both super specific and absolutely critical for the future of space exploration.
See, they're not just about launching rockets. They are building space infrastructure. So you should think of them less like explorers and more like the construction and logistics crew for the moon. They're the ones laying the literal groundwork for everything that's going to come next.
And here is a brilliant way to think about it. If a company like SpaceX builds the massive freeway that gets you from Earth all the way to lunar orbit, Intuitive Machines handles the hardest, most critical part, the last mile. They are the specialists, the experts, who take that precious cargo from orbit and get it delivered safely to a super precise spot right on the lunar surface. It's a huge deal.
So what was it that actually lit the fuse on this stock? Well, it wasn't just one thing. Turns out there were three incredibly powerful engines of growth that all lined up just perfectly to propel this company forward.
And here they are, the three pillars. A total game-changing contract from NASA, a major tech upgrade to their lander, and this really powerful symbiotic relationship with their launch partners. All right, let's break each one of these down.
First, that NASA contract. And look, this is not just any old government grant. NASA is paying Intuitive Machines a ton of money to be their go-to delivery service for what is essentially the most valuable real estate on the moon, the South Pole. Why? Because it's rich with water ice, which is an absolutely critical resource for any future bases.
And we're not talking about pocket change here. This is a massive $180.4 million commitment from the world's top space agency. This contract was this huge vote of confidence that basically legitimized the whole company overnight.
Okay. The second driver is a huge leap in technology. By upgrading to their bigger Nova-D lander, they can now carry much heavier payloads. And this is so crucial because it opens the door to a whole new world of commercial clients. I'm talking mining equipment, communication satellites. It effectively starts turning the moon into a real, viable logistics hub.
And the third factor is this really cool thing called space synergy. So as partners like SpaceX make getting to orbit way cheaper and more common, it doesn't actually hurt Intuitive Missions, it helps them. Think about it. Cheaper rides to orbit mean more potential customers who are going to need their very specialized last-mile landing service. So demand for their unique skill just goes up and up.
Okay, so we've seen the incredible growth and the solid reasons behind it. But, with any stock that has run up this fast, you're going to have two very different ways of looking at what comes next. So let's check out the bull versus the bear case.
And this sets up a really classic conflict, right? On one side, you've got the bulls who see a company with a huge first-mover advantage in a critical new industry. But on the other side, you've got the bears, and they see a super high-risk venture whose stock price might have just gotten way ahead of itself. Let's dig into both sides of the argument.
All right, diving deeper into the bull case, it is all about their competitive advantage. First off, they have what's called flight heritage, which is just a fancy way of saying they've actually successfully landed on the moon. That is an incredibly rare and valuable credential. Beyond that, their long-term plan is to build out essential lunar stuff like GPS and data systems, creating recurring service revenue that isn't just dependent on these high-stakes one-off launches.
The bear case, though, is grounded in a pretty harsh reality. Space is just unforgiving. A single mission failure could be absolutely catastrophic for the stock. And you have to add to that the simple fact that after a 200% run, the valuation looks, well, very rich. There's a totally legitimate concern that the hype might be outpacing the actual cash the company is bringing in right now.
So with all that in mind, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. Because investing in a company like this isn't just about one lander or one mission. It's about a much larger bet.
The way people see this company has fundamentally shifted. Investing in Lunar is no longer just a gamble on a dream of exploring space. Now, with a huge backlog of real, paying contracts, it's become a data-driven investment based on actual, tangible business.
And ultimately, it really just comes down to this. An investment in Intuitive Machines is a direct bet on the commercialization of the moon. It's a bet that we, as a species, are going back. Not just to visit, but to stay, to build, and create an economy there.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? Is Intuitive Machines the company that's laying the foundational bricks for our multiplanetary future? Or is its crazy high valuation just a symptom of market hype? A bubble just waiting for the tiniest pinprick to pop? The answer to that is going to define the next chapter of the commercial space race.